Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Jen, and I'm here with Bam Woman Magazine, and we are getting ready to launch issue 3. Oh my God, I cannot believe we are 3 issues in, and it is so amazing. We've met so many amazing women and guys. Don't forget about Bam Guys. Shout out to all the fellas out there. We are doing some amazing things. The fashion show is coming up. We're super excited about that. So we want you to make sure that you stay tuned for that. Get your tickets. They are on sale now. And just keep up with us because we've got a lot going on. So today, we have Miss Brittney Oliver with us. She's an absolute amazing entrepreneur. She's doing her thing. I am so excited to introduce her and let you guys know who she is. And you got to support her. That's all we want you to do. Support her, love on her, let her know that she is doing amazing things. So, Miss Oliver, you have the floor, darling. Let everybody know who you are and what you do.
So I am a queen, much like Miss Jennifer Robinson sitting here with me. My name is Brittney Oliver, and as she said, I am a serial entrepreneur, and actually that was by force, not by will. I've been in the healthcare industry for about 20 years now, and 2 years ago I decided I'm making all these other people rich, and I don't see anybody like me at these tables. Why not take what I've learned and build my own brand, build my own company, and help people that look like me or other women? Because there's a lot of people that just don't have that seat at the table. And so I started Bijou Health, and 2 years later, it was the best decision I've ever made in my life.
Awesome. I love it. And now I've been in the medical field like you. When I calculated it, I was like, good God, has it been 20 years? I had to clutch my pearls.
Like, where did the time go?
Like it's been that long, but yes. So being in the medical field, I know that we see a lot of different things. And you are on the billing side, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what are some of the things that people need to be aware of when it comes to medical billing?
Ooh, that could be a 3-week conversation. No, I've always been in the healthcare admin operations side. I learned billing. My specialty is credentialing and physician contracting. But one of the things that I will tell you that you need to know is that you need to know what your contract says, and you need to review those contracts on a routine basis. A lot of people don't know that you can go back and negotiate your contract based on the living cost. All of these things, everything that's going on with the economy directly impacts your contract, i.e. your revenue.
Okay. So do you do medical billing for businesses, or are they for office, like doctor's offices, hospitals?
So we have a variety of clients. We have some private practice, one provider. We have some surgery centers. We have a couple of home health providers, a lot of behavioral health. I'm seeing people really getting into that. And so we have a pretty good mix of specialties and disciplines that we work with.
Nice. Okay, good deal. So what would a business need to do to get in contact with you to get something started for their company?
So you can go to our website, bijouhealth.com, and that's spelled BIJOU health.com, because there's a lot of different ways to spell it. You can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, all at Bijou Health. Same thing, really quick to find.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's switch gears just a little bit.
Okay.
I've been in the medical field for 20 years. Now, I know that that's something that, and you said that your entrepreneurship wasn't by choice. So tell us a little bit about your journey into that transition.
Oh, absolutely. So I've always wanted to work for myself. I knew that even before I was a teenager, but I never saw how that was going to happen, just with all of the things that I had going on in life. And so I literally fell into credentialing because I needed a job. I'd lost my job. And I was in college. And so at the time, a friend got me introduced to something that I didn't even know existed. I started out as a credentialing assistant, and a month later, I was promoted to a credentialing specialist. You know, they said I had a knack for it. And so I just kept going, you know, the natural progression of things. It wasn't what I thought I would be doing. And so I looked up, you know, so many years later, and now I'm the division director of a multi-million-dollar company, and I'm not happy. And they think that I actually have a chronic illness. That was the amount of stress that the job was putting on me.
Wow.
And, yeah. So I started my own company as just a side thing, just something to, you know, have extra spending money. And I started because a physician knew me, and he was like, hey, I'm starting my own practice. I know you. I trust you. Can you do this for me? Mm-hmm. And as the pandemic began to set in, like my company started, you know, laying people off, wanted us to take pay cuts, things like that. Mm-hmm. And with my health getting the way it was, we just came to a mutual decision that it was not working, because I was not going to put my company to rest for them. Mm-hmm. And so it just grew from there. I jumped out on faith. I always talk about that. And that just led to opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And here we are with clients, and we're currently in like 12 states and growing. So
nice. Look at that. Now, I love when people talk about their faith. I am big on faith, because I believe that, you know, when you trust and you believe that your business or you yourself are going to grow from this, it's amazing to actually see it happen. So tell me a little bit about your faith. How has it pushed you to be in the position that you're in right now?
So, okay, the thing about faith is people always say, you got to have faith, you got to pray. But when I started to take time out because of the things that I was going through that I talk about in my book, I started to read the Bible. That was something, you know, I always went to church, but you didn't really pay attention. And so I started to read, and I started to comprehend. And it's like faith without works is dead. Mm-hmm. All things work together to them who believe. So it's like, okay, I can have all the faith in the world, but I got to put some work behind it. And so I think as I started doing one little thing, God would meet me and another door would come open, you know. So as you're preparing for things, other opportunities just keep presenting themselves. So that's what, you know, it was for me.
Absolutely. And I totally agree with you. You can't just pray and sit down. You got to move your feet. You got to get out there. You got to do it. You got to do it. You can't just sit down. That is not how that works.
At all.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So do you have a family? Are you married? Do you have children? Tell us a little bit about your background.
So I have a very unique situation.
Okay.
And again, I talk about this in my book because I think there's a lot of women that have experienced this or are going through this, and they don't feel comfortable telling people. So I'm born and raised in Phoenix, and I moved to Chicago for, you know, my fiance, and we were just so happy, and life happened, and he and I are separated right now because he's currently incarcerated. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are like, are you embarrassed to say that? No. First of all, I'm not incarcerated. That's number one. And number two, you know, the situation that happened is not a situation that should have escalated to even what it was. Mm-hmm. And so he's innocent. So let's talk about that, you know. And so a lot of women are just like, oh, I couldn't do that, right? But I said I could have broke up with him, right? But then as women, we get into another relationship, and there goes all of our attention. So this time has been so great for me to focus on me, to get me together, to figure out the things that I need to do to get the business together. Because when you're in a relationship, that becomes your first priority. And not saying you shouldn't. A lot of times we put ourselves to the side. So
absolutely,
I just chose to march forward with it and do what I needed to do.
Well, amen. And like you said, all things work together. So in this time that it's just you can build on, you know, working on you and building the things that you need to do so that when he comes out, you'll be ready.
right up where we left off, you know, and that, right? Because now we've been through something that's made us, you know.
Yes, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your book. Now, I know that you kind of mentioned it a little bit, but talk about the book. What is the book going to be about?
So the book is about my journey through corporate America and kind of dealing with that while dealing with all the pressures of personal life. I think so many times as Black women, we're not allowed to show up at work and be our full selves. We're not allowed to say, I'm having a bad day or I'm on the verge of mental breakdown, you know? And so it was so important for me to write this book for young girls who would be going into the workforce to say, don't do the things that I did. Don't make these mistakes. I was climbing the corporate ladder, you know, while being in an abusive relationship and survived that. And all these things people don't know. And you're trying to juggle school and work or possibly a child if you have that. And I just wanted people to know, listen, you can probably sidestep a few things if you just don't do some of the things that I did. So it's kind of a, you know, conversation, if you will, about the mistakes that I've made and how somebody else sidestepped that and climb the corporate ladder.
I love it. And you know what? I think that when we're true and we're honest with ourselves, we can do that with other people. Absolutely. And people are more willing to listen to your story because they're going to find something that they can relate to. Absolutely. And it's like, oh, so she went through that. Okay, so I'm going through that right now. So if I'm going through that right now, that means that I can get through it because she got through it.
Absolutely.
Man, I love it. So what's the name of the book? Have you decided to, you know what you're going to call it?
The name of the book is, it's going to be probably a series of it, but this one is called The Black Girl Survival Guide, and it's subtitled Corporate America. And so, you know, how do we get to that corner office, if that's what your goal is, without losing ourselves or without feeling like you're so sick you can't even get out of bed to do the job.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. And corporate America is whoo, that's a beast in itself. That's a whole nother conversation. Yeah. And I've been in corporate America and being on actually both sides of it, where, you know, I was an employee and a coworker, and I was also on the management side of it, supervisor management side of it, and it is very stressful, and it can take a toll on you and your family if you let it.
Oh, absolutely.
So, kind of share, if you don't mind, just some of the things that go on in corporate America, as far as, you know, like mentally and emotionally, like the people that, like the stuff that we go through when you're dealing with like big cases, or you're dealing with employees that, you know, are not compliant, or, you know, they're not listening to what you're saying, trying to help them. What are some of the things that you experienced in the corporate world and big business?
You hitting some topics. Like my brain just started going as you're saying this. So one thing that I learned transitioning from where I was to Chicago, right? It's very different out here. I thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to Chicago. Like everybody gonna look like me. No, I was the only person of color in the management role. And I was over 2 hospitals, and the pressure that came with that. You can't make a mistake, and you'd be the person that comes in and finds, you know, years of mistakes that were made, and they could, you know, write that off. Or having someone that reports to you who doesn't like maybe having a person of color reporting to them, and, oh, I don't know, I can't help you. You know, and it's almost like every day you're going into this situation fighting. I think one of the things that I can give you as an example, right, because it's just so relevant right now, is COVID. So I had a boss who, it just maybe seemed like she didn't work well with other women, and she said it. And I mean, every day calling, every single day, 2 times a day, calling my phone, texting my phone about something. Well, did you see the email? Well, yeah, I already responded to it. And, well, can you take a pay cut? Can you make your employees take a pay cut? no one from senior level is taking a pay cut, but you want us to have these conversations with people. And I'm the kind of manager that I like to work with people. And so I like to know my people beyond the job. And so I like to know what these people have going on. I just don't feel comfortable asking people that I already know are in certain situations to take a pay cut. I mean, we just hired these people. Now you want to, like, so it just, the pressure, the amount of pressure, you know, meeting client demands, meeting deadlines, meeting budget goals, and trying to figure out how people are going to keep their job, and then trying to figure out, are you going to have a job tomorrow because your manager just doesn't care for you? The amount of stress is not worth. I mean, I've had people be like, oh, you walked away from 6 figures. If I would have died in the process, I would have still walked away from 6 figures. So, you know.
Yeah. And you know, people don't look at it that way, but your sanity, your mental health, your emotional health, it does take a toll. And it's very important that you keep an eye on that, because it can take you down a rabbit hole that you can't get out of if you let it.
Especially because everyone's like, oh, you're a strong Black woman. Let's pile some more on you. Why do we always got to be the strong ones? Listen.
I have this on my chest, but sometimes I got to take it off. I'm telling you. Oh, man, I'm human. Like, I have emotions. I have feelings. I get tired.
Exhausted, hurt, sick.
Man, yes. So I definitely agree with you on that. And I think people need to realize that, you know, you are replaceable. And you need to take your PTO. Take that time. They give it to you. Take it. They will be fine.
You are 110% correct. In my 20 years, I never took a week vacation. Not once. Not once. I would take maybe long weekends, maybe like Thursday, Friday off. You know, my friends and I go somewhere. I've never just been like, I'm going to take a week off.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And that is so important, because I know it's just 7 days, but that 7 days will replenish you. It will, you know, ease your mind, ease your body. Absolutely. It is very important. That's why they give it to you. I mean, you got to take that time. Take it.
And don't be apologetic about it.
Don't. Absolutely not. If they're going to pay you to take your time, take that time. Even as an entrepreneur, you have to set aside some time. Absolutely. To say, you know what, y'all, I'm just going to go to the beach, or I'm just going to sit at home and in my robe and eat popcorn and drink wine all day long. Whatever you got to do to get your mind at ease, to get all that stuff off of you, to relax, do that, because it is imperative. It is imperative for you. It is imperative for your family. I mean, it's a domino effect. So, girl, yes, we could talk about that forever.
I mean, but you're telling the truth. If you're not at your best, you're not serving your family, your clients, your employees. You're just not doing that. You have to. I heard Iyanla Van Zant, I'm probably saying her name wrong, said, my cup runneth over. What runs out of the cup is for everybody else. Mm-hmm. What's in the cup is for me. So you have to keep that cup full.
Absolutely. Because if you die because you done stressed yourself out so much that you done stroked over, they gonna sign a card for you, and then they're gonna have somebody hired the next day.
The replacement was probably already at the job. Let's just be honest about that.
Let's just be real. I mean, they were waiting on you to just, I can't do this anymore. Or, you know, they go to your funeral. Oh, she was great. And then I got this job. I got her office. Woo woo.
Absolutely. That's what happened to me. I was the director, like I said, and I had 2 employees, Black women, and they were like, listen, that has to be enough. We don't have any money. We can't support you in that way. That was October. I left one of the girls that got hired in under me, because they hired 2, you know, white women would just say that, nothing, you know, and they're now the director and the manager, and they have a team of 20 people. for the
Wow.
same clientele that I had a team of 3. So,
but anyway,
you got that right.
have your business, you are doing your thing, you are killing it.
Thank you.
You have peace.
That's the number one thing. Peace.
You have peace. So kudos to you, ma'am. I bow to you because you are doing your thing. I love it. You are absolutely beautiful. You're ambitious. You're motivated. So I have to ask you, what does it mean to you to be a BAM woman?
To me, it means to be bold, to be courageous,
yes,
to literally jump and figure out how you're going to fly on the way down.
That's good.
To have whatever your reputation is based off of the skill set that you provide and what you do, and just going above and beyond little things. So for me, like opening doors for the elderly, I still want to do that. Things that people take for granted, somebody's always going to remember those things that you did for that. Yes. More than you take.
That's good. That is so good. I love that. I love that. And I'm honored because, I mean, this is what we do this for. You know, we spotlight those that need to be spotlighted and understand what it means to serve. You have to be able to serve. Mm-hmm. One last question before I let you go.
Okay.
What advice would you, and I ask this to everybody, what advice would you give to someone that is wanting to get into your field, into your particular arena, that wants to start a business that you wish you could have gotten from somebody when you got started?
Start early, be tenacious, and get a mentor. So I have a mentee.
Yes.
I mentor her. I met her at one of the events I was putting on, and I just loved her energy. Mm-hmm. And I think she's going to be amazing. And she's making that transition from corporate to owning her own. And be educated.
Yes.
Educated in what it is that you're doing. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't mean just go get your degree, right? Because you can do that. That means staying up on the latest and greatest, because Medicare is always changing things. Mm-hmm. And being dedicated to it, even when it's hard. There are so many days that are hard days when you're an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. But eventually it's going to pay off, you know, right? When you just feel like, I feel like giving up. If you don't feel like giving up on your dream, I don't think it's big enough. If you never had that conversation with yourself, like, is it work? Do I really? It's not big enough. Do something that's going to scare you. That's what I say.
Yes. Do it scared.
Do it scared. Do it broke. Do it worried.
Just do it. Oh my goodness, I love it. Well, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. This has been an amazing conversation, and I really hope and I pray that this conversation helps somebody and they reach out to you, wanting to support you and even get in touch with you to work with you. In that case, how can they get in contact with you? What's your email, your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you have, Snapchat, TikTok, all of it?
Everything, right? 10 million things to have, but probably the most easy way to get a hold of me is probably Instagram. And it's IMB, like Brittney, .Oliver. It's really simple. That's also my Twitter. It's also my Facebook and my LinkedIn is just Brittney Oliver, or you can go to imboliver.com because that is my website also. Very easy to find me.
Very easy. If y'all missed that, that's on y'all. Right. Well, thank you so much, Queen Oliver. It was a pleasure speaking with you this evening.
Thank you. I'm so appreciative for the opportunity and to speak with someone. It was such a great conversation.
Yes. Thank you so much. It was awesome. Thank you. All right, guys. So y'all make sure y'all get in touch with Brittney. She's amazing. She's doing great things, and she's open to helping you and everybody else that's out there that wants to do what she does. So y'all show her some love, follow her, share her pages, contact her, do what it is that you need to do to get in contact with her. All right. All right, guys. Well, that is our time. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.